Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, is self-care selfish? That's the question that we're looking at today. The last time that we gathered here on the live streams on the things, we were talking about how Nettie and I both, as we work with leaders, have seen that, especially when we're in a leadership position, we'll start to judge ourselves as being selfish if we have needs that need to be met, or we'll stop ourselves from making time for self-care. Although I'll sleep when I'm dead, or self-care, that's a luxury, it's not a necessity, or it's kind of like a woo-woo frou-frou thing. So we want to talk to this a little bit more in depth today. Do you think so, Nettie?
Oh, absolutely. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard things like, "Oh, I'm not getting any sleep that night," or, as you already said, "Sleep when I'm dead," or, all sorts of things that we're calling them self-care, but Victoria, they're like basic hygiene and wellness. Yeah. So definitely want to dig into this. If you are putting the title of self-care onto sleep, exercise, eating at all, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, drinking water, or taking any sort of downtime for yourself, or even exploring activities that at some point you used to enjoy, this conversation is going to be for you today. So I'm curious what's coming up for you. Type in the conversation. If you're listening live, you can put live and let us know, do you feel guilty when you need to take care of your own needs? And if you're listening to the recording, welcome, and just let us know recording, and you can say that answer as well. We'll get back to you either way.
Yeah. Guilt on needing to sleep, guilt on needing to pee when there's a meeting. Oh my gosh. Or guilt of having a question to ask, to clarify. Simply, like, how embarrassing. How dare you not immediately understand everything that everyone's saying at the drop of a hat? How dare you have questions? There's internal like peanut gallery, right? Or the angel and the devil, especially on our shoulder, saying, no, you can't take time for yourself. No, you can't slow everyone down. You can't bring everyone onto the same page, especially if you're in a leadership position. Because that's inefficient, unprofessional, you're being annoying.
So you said taking up too much time, wasting time. And I think too, you mentioned getting everyone on the same page. This can be jumping into the conversation to add something relevant, right? Because you may perceive yourself as not as qualified or not as established or whatever, not as in that particular group. And these things are also part of our self-care discussion. So actually, let's let the folks know who we are. I know a number of you know who we are, and you're jumping back in here for yet another conversation, and we are so excited to have you with us. But if this is the first time you're seeing the Nettie Victoria show, I'd like to let you know who we are. Victoria, do you want to go first?
Sure. So, hey everyone, Sensei Victoria Whitfield, founder of strategicmeditation.com, where I help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business as a business Reiki master and high-performance coach. So you can find me at strategicmeditation.com. Yeah, Nettie, tell them.
Yeah, check her out. The links are also down below in the description. So if you're like, wait, what did she just say? Just check out the description. So I'm Nettie Owens. I am the founder of the Sappari Group, where we provide executive coaching and consulting specifically for women run businesses and organizations. And we do this through one-on-one executive coaching, strategic planning, events, as well as accountability and productivity. And my background is both as a professional organizer and performance coach, and way back in the day as a computer science major at Johns Hopkins University. So love to bring it all together and add the systems touch to everything that we're talking about. You can find me at sapparigroup.com.
Fabulous. Fabulous. The best of the best and nothing less. Yeah. So let's get into this. Is there a difference between self-care and selfish? Yes. Like how can we recognize the difference between when we are requiring self-care versus when we're being selfish? Because I think that's actually a huge part of the question, not being able to discern selfishness from a need for more self-care. And I think on both sides, definitions and really getting clear on what exactly is self-care and what exactly it means when we're being selfish, so that we can care for ourselves in the future around this issue, is essential. What do you think, Nettie?
I would agree. And I love getting clear on the words that we're using. And so I'm going to bring in good old Oxford English Dictionary here to help us out. Personally, before I get to that definition, I consider using wellness instead of self-care. They actually are pretty much the same thing, but over the years, the word self-care has just gained a different kind of like feeling, and wellness is something that we all need. And obviously self-care is too, but if we want to remove the stigma, I like to use the word wellness instead. If we're looking at selfish, if we actually look at the definition of that, it's an adjective, and it's a person who is lacking consideration for others. It doesn't even make sense that well-being and wellness and taking care of your body and self would somehow imply that you lacked consideration for others. So concern chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. Well, okay, as we expand that definition, I think it's really important, actually, that we are very concerned with our own profit and pleasure, because who else is going to be? But that doesn't mean that in doing so, you lack consideration for others. I think that just societally, we've entangled these concepts that shouldn't be. And today, our conversation, I hope, is about taking them apart and looking at each one and what each piece of this means, from wellness to being inconsiderate, which is really the definition of selfishness, to being concerned as a primary function with your profit and your pleasure. I got to tell you, if you're not concerned about that, no one else is going to be either. So, as you hear that definition, Victoria, I don't know, what's coming up for you?
I love it, especially this idea of being only concerned with your own pleasure and profits. So here's the thing: your pleasure and your profits can be a want and can be a need.
Mm.
So it is okay for you to have to get your needs met. Why is it okay for you to get your needs met? Because I'm talking to the viewer, right? I'm talking to us, but we would be first in line as leaders to make sure other people get their needs met.
Right.
So you as a leader have got to include yourself in deserving getting your needs met. That can include you having a good time doing things that please you. And that can include you making a profit off of your investment of time, money, energy, soul, spirit, creativity. Your ability to get your needs met are just as valid as the next person. So when we're talking about self-care, I love that, to help kind of decouple self-care and selfishness, like the removing the self word with wellness. I see what you did there, Nettie. Really awesome. And there's this, I, I would come back to the self in that there's a lack of self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-approval, and even self-worth. When we don't endorse our own self-care, that makes us actually more of a harmful person to be around rather than a selfless person to be around. And that's where the guilt, like, how do you say, the savior complex can start to come in. Well, I feel bad that I have needs. I got to make sure I take care of your needs. And if I have needs, such as I need some alone time to just be an empty potato, to not be like a freaking superhero goddess, but I just need some alone time to rest, recharge, enjoy the silence and nothingness. That aspect of knowing myself is what's entailed in self-care. That doesn't make me selfish. It makes me self-aware. And so I don't know if that makes it, like, is that resonating or?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I love how you, like, basically we're taking these words and these definitions that I feel like have been misused, misapplied, and pulling them apart to into their various aspects. And I do think it's really important to have self-awareness. And I think you nailed it, that you become a harmful person if you don't have self-awareness. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to come by it naturally. There are some people who are naturally not self-aware, but having structures to help you notice, like, oh, I happen to need to use the bathroom, and it's okay if I go do that right now. And that's fine. You can have some systems in place that help you be self-aware. There was something that you said. Oh no, I was actually wondering for you. I was curious. Has this ever come to a head for you? Like, has there been a time in your life, Victoria, where either a lack of self-awareness or a feeling of guilt or a feeling of selfishness led to you setting aside your self-care and well-being?
That'd be a big, hot, steaming pile of, yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, tell us about it.
So, actually, like, taking also back your word of wellness as the wellness industry, right? And endorsing the practices that care for one's health alongside caring for being productive or others. I wouldn't be in the wellness industry, right, as a Reiki master, like life coach, performance coach, or a meditation teacher. I wouldn't be in this industry if it wasn't for a collapse, a total failure at prioritizing my own self-care, because I had the experience of working myself into the hospital, right, where I was working in a nonprofit and prioritizing speed, productivity, effectiveness, and generating as much results as possible, hurrying myself while I was working in the office. And in my hurry, rather than asking for help, opening up this beautiful original window, it's an antique glass window on a hot summer day, rather than asking for help to open up, or even rather than taking a hot minute to go and turn the air conditioner on, or waiting for someone to come back into the building. No, I'm like, I gotta hurry up. Forget self-care. I gotta hurry up, and jiggled the window open. Wham! It falls on my fingers down to the bone. I'm wedged in the window between about a good 30, 40 panes of glass.
Mhm.
And so to this day, I have, this is my normal thumb, like, so this is my right thumb.
Mhm.
This is my left thumb. If you could see the difference, this one comes down at a 90-degree angle. This one comes only to 45. Like, I'm pressing as hard as I can because this is a contusion that I, to this day, to remind me, don't rush. You matter, right?
Mhm.
You matter. And instead of remembering to take my time and do it right, or to ask for team support so that I can go faster, it may feel like I'm going slower, but getting everyone around, let's open this beautiful window together, rather than I gotta do it. I got that type of thing.
It's all gonna be done by me, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so that was a pivotal moment, actually,
Mhm.
in my life and career, that made me step back and be like, wow, what is the pattern in me that has created this situation that I found
Mhm.
myself in? And now I deliver that level of awareness for my clients and students who they too have struggled to be able to work themselves into their schedule, right? Or to work their own care, heading through a breakdown and a
Mhm.
burnout while you're trying to break through and break out in your career.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness. The first time I heard you tell that story, I imagined the fear and the pain, and the isolation of that experience for you. It was just so overwhelming. And yet, whether it's a window or something else coming crashing down on you, when we ignore that self-awareness of our own needs, then these things are very likely to happen to us. I wanted to come back to self-care. You said that, you were thinking of speed and productivity, and so you went and opened the window, nobody was around, and you got yourself stuck. It was as though self-care doesn't equal speed and productivity. And I want to, like, big X, right? If you want to go fast, take care of the vessel first. Make sure that you have a support system. Make sure that you have your needs met and you are prioritizing pleasure and profit and other aspects of you. And that will allow you to go faster, to be productive. It is a complete falsehood that self-care does not equal speed and productivity. I'm sorry. Did I say that right? I don't know. That
yes, you
okay.
did.
It was like a couple negatives there. Just we want to make sure, we want to drill into your minds that self-care equals speed. Self-care equals productivity. Self-care equals profit. Self-care equals pleasure. Self-care equals self-awareness.
Mhm.
When you and I met, it was it was because I had some questions. But the first thing that you did with me when we started working together was ask me to take a day to do the thing that I did for everyone else, but make it for myself. And that looked like, because kind of rewinding a little bit of 10 years ago, I was work from home, stay at home mom of 3 that was also homeschooling. And, we got into these conversations, and it was clear that my level on the pecking order was like under the bottom of people getting attention in the household. And it was a really, really difficult thing that you asked me to do, which was the thing I did for everyone else was cook. and prepare meals and, make sure everybody's schedules and needs were met. So I shopped for this big, glorious meal. I planned it all out, like 5 course, and then I cooked the whole thing and I got flowers and made a beautiful setting. And you said I could not, no one else could take a bite of food until I said they could. It was like, it was something I never even fathomed. I would have never taken the time to do this for myself. And like, why does this equal productivity and speed? Again, coming back to that self-awareness of, if you're not feeding yourself, if you're not doing things that bring you pleasure, if you are not on a regular basis having the elements in your life that feel really good to you, you are going to get slower and slower. You are going to become unwell. Things are not going to work. You might end up in the hospital. It's all possible if we're thinking that self-care is selfish, self-care is slow, self-care is, something that is shameful or should allow you to feel guilt. And today is your wake-up call to take them apart. Maybe look at, why is that feeling coming up for you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Coming to this topic with presence and seriousness, like taking it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not allowed to be fed? Who am I offending? Who did I learn this from?
Mm.
Who am I trying to feed instead? And does that mean that they are more worthy or more acceptable or better than me? Like what is the story that I'm telling myself by not feeding my own needs? And this, like, especially as we're talking about self-care, is it selfish? Oftentimes we think of it, especially in like the health, like, wellness, like your medical, all that types of stuff. We talk about going to the bathroom, we go into the hospital, or Nettie, stuff like that. Or we'll also think of self-care around relationships, of how we're interacting with family members, as you said, or team members, as I had mentioned. But I also want to bring in self-care financially. That as someone who, and I'm speaking especially to the business owners, the solopreneurs out there, and even for those of you who are in leadership and over delivering, getting underpaid. There's an element of self-care as making a profit and being abundantly supplied. Could doing well in your career be selfish?
Ooh. That's so stinky. Why are you bringing that up, Victoria? Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, this is the conversation we had yesterday. And for those of you who are wondering, yesterday's conversation was not broadcast on internet, but Victoria and I were talking, and I was looking at the work that I do, and oftentimes I will be spending more time on the spaces where I volunteer than the spaces where I earn my living. And that comes back to exactly what we're talking about, as far as having these feelings about getting paid for the work we do. And it's important. Getting paid is self-care. I think that the best people we can talk to about this, if you're listening out there, not just leaders, but women, so often our work has been relegated to unpaid positions, parenting positions, caregiver positions, volunteer positions, roles in the family, et cetera, that are just, oh, well, that's women's work. And then because it has this stigma, we feel bad to ask for money for the roles that we play in those spaces.
It's my heart, like, ah. My heart, like,
your heart is growling. Come on,
it's growling in a like a mama bear defensive move.
Yeah.
For the sisters in business who are pouring their heart and soul into their work because, well, I'm high on life, or I love this so much I do it for free. But also my heart is growling for my yes men, my soul brothers who, yes, I got it. Whatever you need, let me over deliver. Let me over deliver. Forget about like being able to have any take home at the end of the day. We got to show up and show out and make sure everyone says that we're great, and we get paid in applause, right? Paid in likes and in follows.
Yeah.
But when you open the fridge or you open your wallet, where's the recognition? Where's the abundance? Where's the support after all that you've given? Where is the return? It's valid. It is not just okay. It is imperative. It is sacred to ask this question of profitability, because especially if you are working for yourself, right? Business owner, solopreneur, and you aren't getting a profit at the end of the day, I'm sorry, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And it may be a joy for you to do, like you're doing what you love, right? Doing what you love. But what you love is not taking care of you. And how long will you be able to continue to do what you love when it's draining or maybe even killing you?
Yeah, this brings me to what I think would be a really good starting point for next week's conversation about not just draining, it's slowly starving you and your business, and all of the things that are important to it. Could be starving your relationships when you are not receiving the appropriate income for the work that you do. So I would love to dig into that in our next conversation and go deep. Go deep into that. Should we leave our listeners with some, I don't know, some direction? Where do they need to go? Where do they need to start? And if you commented below at the beginning of our conversation, thank you for that. And hopefully you're starting to kind of disentangle these feelings of guilt, selfishness, unworthiness from self-care, self-awareness, and wellness. And let us know, like, what's coming up for you, and how is this resonating with you?
Yeah, if anyone's watching, and by the way, if you're thinking of a friend who this is their question too, go ahead, hit the share button, spread this conversation wide, because we need to talk about it. Like, this is really affecting the community. But if you're watching this and you're struggling with feeling guilty taking time for yourself, or you're struggling with this pattern in you where you think self-care is selfish, and I'm hearing my spirit guides tell me to say, in your heart that this pattern isn't even yours, but you want it out of you. If you would like support with that, if you want our help with that, go ahead and comment below, connect, right? And Nettie and I, we will connect with you in a 3-way DM on LinkedIn so that we can continue this conversation with you, see how we can help with you or even your team. Because this is something that you do not have to go alone. And I know that for the both of us, it was because we reached out and asked for help, asked to connect to help. That really changed our lives and the trajectory of our lives. So we're here to pay it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And just from one last thing, from a system standpoint, is that when you add structure to your self-care, when you add systems to your self-care and put it in your operating procedures, you will see direct benefit from you having that awareness to your bottom line, your well-being, and your success. It's super, super important, especially for leaders, to pay attention and to bring it in to the structure of how you operate. But absolutely, drop that connect below. We would love to talk to you and just surround you in care and support.
Alrighty. So fabulous. Are we feeling complete, you think?
I think we're feeling complete.
Wow. For now.
Next week. I know.
For now, to the next juicy topic.
Yes.
Like, share, subscribe, everyone. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.